Good morning, everybody. Good morning. 7:59. I was bored. I got to be honest. I've been sitting here staring at my laptop for the past 8 minutes. Like, when's it going to turn 8 o'clock? It doesn't happen all the time. When it does happen, I try to take advantage of it. What's going on, everybody? Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Long time no see. Long time no chat. It's the last time I saw you guys. 6 hours ago. 8 p.m. tip-offs now in the NBA. All right, all good. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for being here. We got, obviously, schedule is going to be a little bit different this week. So thank you for hanging out on this Wednesday. Good day to hang out. Good day to hang out. Day before Thanksgiving. Let's get as much Laker content in as we can, NBA content as we can, and then we'll send everybody off for a fantastic Thanksgiving coming up tomorrow for everybody. So I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Got a full rundown here. No guests today. No guests. I think I got a good balance of when I have a guest on, when I don't have a guest on. So hopefully you guys like that balance too. Had a guest on yesterday. Today, it's just me and you. That's it. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Here's what we got going on for the show today. And as always, thank you very much for hanging out and being a part of the show. If you're part of the post-game show yesterday and then part of the morning show today, you're putting in some hours. You're grinding. Lakers over the Clippers. We'll talk a little bit about the game. 13-4 start. You know, I got to be honest with everybody. I think we're going to start trying to make an argument here that I don't think Rob Pelinka in the front office, I don't think they're going to be left with much of a choice here, but to go out there and be aggressive at the deadline. And I'm not talking about LeBron's timetable or any of that. I'm talking really about Luka's. So we'll get into that, what that could all mean. But Lakers are off to a 13-4 start. And last night, some things happened that I think are definitely worth talking about. And looking forward to obviously having a discussion about yesterday's game and then moving forward for the Lakers. Almost 25% of the season in. Perfect game for LeBron, Luka, and AR. I'll tell you guys what I mean by that. But, I mean, statistically, I don't think you can literally ask for a more perfect game from LeBron, Luka, and AR playing together. I don't think you could ask for a more perfect game. Talk about that. I think the Clippers are done. They're 5-13. I don't see any fight from that team. They look lost. I don't even know if I have a good example, but you ever go somewhere and you're just looking around, you're like, yep, I don't belong here. Doesn't it feel like some of those players are just they're in an environment that doesn't seem like it's perfect for them or conducive for them or however you want to put it. But I think the Clippers are done. I was really looking forward to kind of getting a chance to see what exactly that team looks like. And I walked away incredibly unimpressed. All right, a couple other things I'm going to get into as well, and I'm going to look at the comments. What's an ideal season at this point for LeBron? There was a really good article from Dave McMenamin yesterday that I want to dive into. It was talking about different streaks that LeBron is on, and he's got the double-digit scoring, which is the most absurd stat. I know I've always heard of this, but I don't know if it really dawned on me how long he's been doing it for. He's got another one for being part of the All-NBA team. Whatever individual statistics that LeBron's been chasing in the past, I really, really think those days have to be well behind him. And I think it could really help his own legacy by not paying attention to any of that stuff. We'll hit on that. Power rankings around the NBA. Hey, look who came around. ESPN finally came around. Been saying for 2 weeks, what's ESPN doing with their power rankings? Where are they putting the Lakers? Now, all of a sudden, starting to make sense. I mean, you listened to me 2 weeks ago. Got some NBA news I'm going to get into, some games tonight. We'll talk a little bit about the NBA Cup, and then we're going to call it. How do we describe the rest of this week? No show tomorrow, no show on Friday, but I am doing a post-game show on Friday night after Lakers play Dallas. So we're not done for the week. We're definitely not done. I'll keep putting content up, but I will not be doing a live show tomorrow morning, and I will not be doing a live show on Friday morning. Maybe Friday morning? I don't think so. No. Let's leave it alone on Friday. We'll come back on Friday night and have a show. I think. We'll see what happens. Let me take a look at some of the comments here before we get the show started. I got emotional right there. Let's take a look at a couple of the comments, go from there. Sli, any gym stories? Now I bring my own treadmill and 45s to LA Fitness. Way more convenient. No, but I'm keeping an eye out. You know, I'm always now every time I'm at the gym, I'm looking around, seeing what people are doing, how they're acting, who's making unnecessary noises. All that stuff. I'm all over it. Don't worry. 8 p.m. tip-offs. It's so the first game doesn't run over the second game when they're airing on the same national network. Peacock, unlike the older sports network, gets it. I completely disagree. I don't give a flying F if the first 4 minutes of a Lakers-Clippers game in November is overlapping another game that's going on between Philadelphia and whoever the hell they played yesterday. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? 8 o'clock? What are we talking about here? Let it overlap. By the way, start one game at 5, start the other game at 7:30. You're fine. Okay, they overlap for 4 minutes. Is somebody not going to watch the game now? All right, I'm sorry, but listen, if you're coming at me with you like the 8 p.m. tip-offs, freaking gloves off, I'm ready to go. I might as well just say something about my family. I'm ready to go. How long before Thanksgiving do you have your cousin walk? That's a good question. All right, let's save some of this. Well, you know what we'll do at the end of the show today? We'll do a little, I don't know, Ask Sli's around Thanksgiving or something, and we'll just get into it. Okay, so we'll get into it. But let's get the show started now. We're too much in the thick of things right now to be doing Thanksgiving chatter. But at the end of the show, I'll take some Thanksgiving questions. I like that. All right, let's get the show started. So, Lakers over the Clippers yesterday. All right, I'm done with these people. Now people want a 9 p.m. tip-off. Lakers over the Clippers yesterday. So final score last night, 135 and 118. Did you guys tell me if you guys felt the same way about the show yet or about the game yesterday? I kind of had a little bit of a curiosity. I was like, yeah, I know Clippers are struggling, but they got a lot of talent on that team. And if there's a game for them to get up for, and if there's a game for them to kind of try to turn around their season, I know their season's not done per se, but damn, they're getting close to it. That sounds a little wild to say this early in the year, but I'll explain some of my reasoning once I get into the Clippers. But I had some curiosity. I was like, all right, let's see what the Clippers are all about. You look at their roster and you're like, all right, Kawhi Leonard's on that team. James Harden's obviously can put up 30 any given night. They traded for John Collins. They got Ivica Zubac. DeAndre Ayton is out. So what's he going to be able to do? Nicholas Batum. I was actually, the guys I was most impressed with on the Clippers were guys that I didn't know anything about. Kobe Brown, Kobe Sanders. There were a couple of the youngsters that I'm like, hey, these guys are decent. These guys aren't bad. They play with some high energy, everything else. By the time that game was done yesterday, I had a really, really good view of what both of these teams are. The Lakers are wildly talented, starting at the top of the food chain in Luka Doncic, who can drop 40, 10, and 10 on any given night, period. There's a few guys in the league right now. It's something that LeBron used to be. There's a few guys in the league right now that can single-handedly carry a team in a regular season game and go get a W, and Luka Doncic is one of those players. Jokic, Giannis, Luka, Shea. I don't think you go past that list. Those are probably the 4. Not that it can't happen every once in a while, whatever the case is from another team. Maybe Cade Cunningham's starting to walk into that conversation. I don't know. I'm not watching Pistons basketball every day. But there was such a stark difference between the two teams where, yes, Lakers led by one superstar, but then they could hit you with another one with Austin Reeves. It's like, shit, we stopped Luka, or Luka doesn't have the ball, or Luka's on the bench. AR can give you 30. And then yesterday, I think we also saw, and I'll get into the trio a little bit, of what's that 1, 2, 3 combo look like for the Lakers at its best. I thought yesterday it looked pretty damn impressive. But here's some other things that I noticed watching both of these franchises go in completely different directions. I think there were also moments where the Lakers said, we got to get stops. If we're going to win this game, if we're going to have an opportunity to, pull away from the Clippers, got to get some stops. Lakers were able to do it in the fourth quarter. I thought there was some cohesiveness. I kept mentioning in the postgame show yesterday, and for those who don't know, probably most of them know, after every Lakers game, I obviously do a show as well, so you can catch that available here on YouTube, also available on anywhere you get any of your podcasts from now as well, including the iHeartRadio network. In the postgame show, I kept saying one team seems connected and the other team seems distant. The Clippers, it felt like they were You ever, I don't know, you go to a dinner and you see one table where everybody's kind of laughing and talking, and you see just one family, they seem just a lot more connected. Maybe their phones are down and they're having more of a conversation, everything else. And then the other table, everybody's just on their phone. That's kind of how I looked at the Clippers. I looked at the Clippers. I just saw individuals. And for the Lakers, I saw a team. One regular season game, I don't care. It's not that big of a deal. But I haven't seen the Clippers this year. I really haven't got a good chance to watch them for 48 minutes, and I got to see them yesterday. The Lakers are just, clearly a better team that's more connected, a team that's paying more attention to their head coach, and a team, at least in the first quarter of the season, looks like a team that's top 3 in the Western Conference, maybe top 4 at the worst, but one of the more connected teams in the NBA. All right, what does it mean overall for the Lakers? It means they're 13-4 now on the season. They got some home cooking coming up as well. Now, they're going to go on a 6-game road trip eventually, but I know they still got a game coming up against Dallas, New Orleans, Phoenix. They got 3 more games here at home, where if you technically reach the quarter mark of the season, you'd be about 20 games in. They're 17 games in. We'll see where they end up. Okay, maybe they take 2 of the next 3 and they're 14-5 or 15-5. Maybe they win all 3 and they're 16-4. However you want to, obviously look at the Lakers. Pretty damn incredible start for the Lake Show, and some stark differences between the Lakers and the Clippers. I wasn't impressed at all with the Clippers, and a little bit later, I'll take some shots towards the Clippers just based on what I watched. Okay, so let me kind of keep moving here. Tell me another game, or tell me another perfect scenario for the Lakers stars. Because what I watched last night, again, from my perspective, what I saw last night, I saw what I would say is probably the most ideal game for all 3 stars playing together. Okay, let's look at the top of the food chain right now. And I think right now, if you're looking at the Lakers, you're saying Luka's the best player on the team, top 5 in the league, top 4, top 3, wherever you put him. Austin Reeves, the second best player on the Lakers right now. Can that change as the season progresses? Sure. But you want Austin Reeves to be the second best player on the team. What I mean by that is that means LeBron, the third best player on a squad that can kind of pick and choose how he can be productive for the Lakers. That seems pretty damn dangerous for the rest of the league. And then LeBron slots in at number 3 there. Again, will that change? Sure. There are going to be times LeBron's more valuable. Absolutely. There are going to be times Austin Reeves doesn't have a good game. Of course. But tell me what's more ideal than last night's game for the Lakers. Luka was by far the best player on the floor yesterday. By far. And that's a game that included Kawhi, it included Harden, it included LeBron, it included, some really good players, some really good talent. Luka was by far the best player. Here's Luka's line when the game ended. 43 points, 13 assists, 9 rebounds. Okay, well, if Luka's going to have 43, 13, and 9, clearly Austin Reeves isn't going to get it going on offense. I mean, come on. Though there's only one basketball. It's going to be impossible for Austin Reeves to eat as well if Luka's got 43, 13, and 9. All right, here's Reeves' numbers. 31 points on 16 shot attempts, 11 of 16 from the field, plus 9 rebounds and 3 steals. All right, so let me do the math here. Let me fully understand this. So Luka can get you 43, 13, and 9, and there's still enough for Austin Reeves to get you 31 and 9. Okay, well, if Luka's going to do that, and Reeves is going to put up 31, and between the two of them, you have 74. Well, I mean, LeBron's obviously going to have a very, very quiet night, or maybe his shot's not falling, or maybe LeBron just didn't play in this game. Or how about LeBron gave you 25, 6, and 6? Guys, you can't ask for a more perfect game where each one of these guys gets to shine in their own role. I'm not even saying that Luka's not thinking of, well, I can't do this because of Austin. Austin's not thinking, well, I can't be myself because of LeBron or because of Luka. I'm talking about the strengths of each of these individual players at their best in a game where it's all needed. It doesn't seem forced, and it just seemed like the Lakers found a way to gel with all three players being tremendous. You got a 43-13-9, a 31-9, and a 25-6-6. I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. Now, listen, you don't want to give up 118 points a night, which the Lakers did against the Clippers. Clippers gave up 135 to the Lakers. So, that obviously says a lot right there, what the Lakers, their potential, how potent they could be on the offensive side. Clippers are 5-13, so you can't compare them. If the Lakers just beat Houston or Denver, which they would never beat Houston and Denver this way because you're not scoring 135, and those teams are just coached better. They play better. They gel. They're more united, I guess you can call it. But that's pretty unbelievable to see all three of those players have those types of games. The only one, if I wanted to bitch and complain about one thing, what I would tell you is, okay, maybe Austin Reeves' assists were lower than I'd like it to be. Austin Reeves had 3 assists. I'm a 7 to 8 assists a night guy for Austin Reeves, and I think that's when Reeves is at his best. But just a phenomenal performance from all three of the players, and it was really fun to see all three of these guys gel together, do what they were able to do, play at a high level, come away with a win, make the Clippers, just make them look like a lottery team and a team that should blow it up. And that's I know the game was pretty close for a while, but I do feel like the Lakers felt like, all right, let's really lock down right here. And they were able to. It took their game to another level, which I don't think the Clippers were able to do. So what a performance from all three of these players. What a perfect stat line for LeBron. What a perfect stat line for LeBron. 25, 6, and 6 this stage of his career. There's such little pressure on LeBron right now because Luka's there, because AR's there, and because some of these other role players are there, that he gets to just shine in his own role, getting ready to turn 41 here in the next month. All right, let's take a look at some of the comments here. We'll see what you guys think, if you agree with some of the stuff that I'm talking about, and go from there. All right, let's see what we have here. Let's see what we have. I want to see what by far the best game all three have played together. Yeah, and that's my point. My point is the three of them playing together. That's my point. That's what I'm referring to. I've seen Luka have better performances, even though that's wild, 43-13-9. I've seen Austin Reeves have better individual performances. LeBron obviously wakes up and already has a triple-double. We've seen these guys have phenomenal individual performances, but the question everybody's asking is, what are they able to do together? How can you maximize each one of these guys' skill sets? And I thought last night was just a phenomenal example of it. Let me see some more here. Need better defense to gel better. Don't disagree there. Don't disagree there. I completely agree with that. All right, let's get another one in here. Once playoffs start, do you think AR will average 20 plus? To be honest with you, I have no indication to tell me that he wouldn't. I have no indication. And if everybody wants to hold, last year's playoffs over Austin Reeves' head and say that he's a bum because he didn't play well enough against Minnesota, that's okay. That's fine. Obviously then it's going to be up to Austin Reeves to change that narrative. And once the playoffs start, then that's going to be up to him to change that. And we'll see what eventually happens. But yeah, I if you see what Reeves has been doing offensively this year, I do think there's levels to the game, and I think Austin Reeves is coming into a different level. LeBron is third option. I hope people don't take that the wrong way. I hope they don't take it the wrong way as if it's like it's a shot at LeBron. That no, he's 40. He's going to be 41. I'm going to get into this ESPN article because I think, for me, I'm going to map out what I think is a perfect season for LeBron James. And I think a lot of the individual stats and the individual achievements and those individual streaks, I hope all those just get wiped away because I just don't think they mean anything at this point. None of them are going to add anything else to LeBron's resume. LeBron's resume is already stamped. There's really only one thing that could add to LeBron's resume at this point. One thing that could add and have a significant difference into LeBron's resume, but we'll do that. We'll do that after. We'll do that here in a little bit. Luka is MVP in my opinion. I appreciate the super. Here's a problem with the MVP stuff, and I actually have a little segment here that I'm going to do. I got the power rankings I'm going to do, and I'm going to just talk a little bit about the top players in the league. Luka being one of those guys. He's going to be in the conversation. If you're putting up the points he's putting up, if you are leading the league in scoring like he is, and then most importantly, is your team good? His team's good. He's not putting up great numbers on a shitty team that's not even going to make the playoffs or is going to be in the playing tournament. He's doing it on a team in the Western Conference that's 13-4. So he's going to be in that conversation, no question about it. All right, let me see if I got a couple more here, and then I'm going to kind of keep moving on a couple more of these topic. All right, let's see. LeBron is a nice third option. Milwaukee looking at AR. I mean, listen, I've said this before. We could continue to have the conversation. Do I think Lakers are looking to trade AR? I don't. Do I think if Giannis Antetokounmpo tomorrow said, I want to be a Los Angeles Laker, and by hell or high water, I'm going to find a way to get there, then that's a different conversation, and any player on the Lakers is available but Luka. But we got to get that far. I mean, I think that still wouldn't even happen until the season ended. I don't think any NBA team can handle the Thunder defense so far. Yeah, Thunder, I hope in all of my conversation, about the Lakers and how great they've been and everything else, I don't want anybody to think that I think the Lakers are on the Thunder's level, because they're clearly not. And I don't think anybody in the NBA is. All right, let me read one more here, and then I want to get into another topic here about the Clippers here real quick. Luka's the second best player in the league behind Jokic. SGA is a little bit better defender, but doesn't control the game like Luka. He just lucked out with a much better defensive roster. He's got a great front office over there. You know, that team is built perfectly. It might be boring at times. They might not be, the most exciting team in the world. It doesn't matter. You're looking for results or you're looking for style points. I'd rather have results. And that's what the Thunder are. But you can't ignore SGA. They're 17-1. The stats he's putting up are ridiculous. They're doing this without Jalen Williams. They're the defending NBA champions. There's also a lot. If you told me who's the best player in the world, I'd tell you it's Jokic. And every time Jokic doesn't win an MVP, it's probably because they don't want to keep giving the award to the same person. I saw a couple plays yesterday. I didn't actually see it. I heard people talking about it. So I guess Peyton Watson, if I'm right, Jokic had a pass. Yes. First off, he shot a half-court shot. Not yesterday, the day before, but I watched the highlights yesterday. He shot a half-court shot like he was taking a free throw, and he hit it. And then he walked to the bench as if, I don't know, like he just hit a layup or something, I mean, there are times with Jokic, I'm like, can you just show a little emotion? He's like, no, I can't. Okay. But he had a pass to Peyton Watson. He's kind of starting to post somebody up, and the defense is coming towards him, and he spins as if he's going to spin and shoot the ball. But instead, he just spins, and just kind of in the motion of his spin with his left hand, threw a behind-the-back bounce pass to a cutting Peyton Watson. And I didn't even look at any of that. I just saw two players. I think they were playing Memphis. Two players from Memphis's bench on the end. Both of them did one of those, like, oh, my God. Do you know how much respect it is when you can get the opposing team to clearly react to something that you did? That was the Memphis Grizzlies with the Jokic a couple days ago. It's pretty funny, actually, to watch. Jokic treats basketball like a job. I'm just straight up, like he went into like a construction site. That's it. He goes in, and then he's done. Then he's done after that. Okay, let me do one quick thing here on the Clippers, and then after that, I want to get into that article I was talking about with LeBron and talk about what I think is an ideal season. And I really hope LeBron approaches this season like it, because I think he can actually raise his level I think he can raise his resume by doing this. And I also think that Laker fans could have more of a connection with him if he's able to do this as well. And I have no indication thinking that he's not going to do it. Just real quick on the Clippers. Give me. I want to read a couple of what's your take from what you saw yesterday? Maybe there's some people on here that are Clipper fans and just want to watch the reaction to, a post-game show, getting a different perspective. Give me your opinions. Maybe you've watched some Clipper games before and there was no surprise yesterday. I want to know what people thought of the Clippers yesterday. I'm probably jumping out a little too soon on this, but that's okay. Either I'm going to hang myself to dry or I'll be right on it. I think the Clippers are done. I really do. I think they're done. I think they have a very, very odd mix of players. I think they're the oldest team in the NBA in a league that clearly is showing you got to be younger. I was listening to Pelinka yesterday. He was on with Chris McGee, Geeter, and James Worthy, Spectrum, pregame. And he said that, they were talking about the players that the Lakers added and some of the in just his age, Jake LaRavia. He said it's a young man's league. To compete in today's NBA, you got to have some youngsters. And the Clippers are completely the other way. The Lakers got younger and the Clippers got older. And it doesn't mean, listen, I don't know what's going to happen the rest of the year. I know Bradley Beal's out the rest of the season, but I was so unimpressed watching the Clippers. And when I say the Clippers are done, this is what I mean. You cannot take them as a, clearly you can't take them seriously as a true contender. I think there's a major question coming for the Clippers in the next 30 days. Do you blow this thing up? Do you start making decisions on, okay, what players can we go out there? They got some players that I think can be valuable on a playoff team. Do you start just kind of the rebuilding process? Because what makes you think this is going to change for the Clippers? The biggest thing for me watching the Clippers yesterday, I just do not think they're connected. That's it. Like that, I think the thing that stands out more to me than anything else, the chemistry, the fight. When I'm listening to Stu Lance on the broadcast say the Lakers are just giving more effort for a team walking into that game that was 5-12, you would think the team giving more effort is the team that's more desperate. And the Clippers are much more desperate than the Lakers yet. For some reason, they just don't have that fight that they should have. So they're in a very dangerous spot. They got the third worst record in the Western Conference, and I don't know how you're not thinking of blowing it up if you're the Clippers. Let me read just a couple of the comments on the Clippers, and then we'll keep going to the other topic that I had in mind. Let's see. I take no pleasure in this Lakers win. It's the Clippers, for goodness sake. Man, I did this yesterday before the show started. If you guys remember, I was talking about how preseason rankings in the NBA, Clippers were 6th in the NBA, Lakers were 10th. So this is as bad as Dallas is playing or New Orleans is playing or however you want to describe it. The Clippers being this bad, I think they might be the most shocking, team in the entire NBA for how poorly they're playing. All right, let's get a couple in here. Clippers, not good at defense. Clippers look old. Let's hear what else we got here. It was a good win. I take no pleasure. Okay, watching the Clippers struggle just highlights all talking heads that said they won the offseason like the Athletic. Yeah, on paper, they won the offseason. Clippers are a failed organization. The reason OKC will likely be the NBA's next dynasty. And before the season even started, maybe this is part of my reasoning too. You also had the issue of the aspiration deal, Steve Ballmer, the investigation. Kawhi Leonard is clearly, look, as you can't have, he's not a leader. You need an organization that's completely buttoned up, and right now the Clippers don't seem like they're buttoned up at all. Clippers don't have a future. Half of their team is old. The Clippers are the Charlie Brown of the NBA. The basketball gods will never let them kick the football. Yeah, I think most people would agree with me. Just they're in a tough spot, and what they do from here, I got no idea. But they are definitely in a tough spot, and I think they're done. I really genuinely believe that. I think we're going to be talking about them over the next couple of months, talking about how they're going to need to be selling off and seeing what they do. We'll see what happens. Maybe they're able to turn it around. I will say there are a lot of bad teams in the Western Conference right now, surprisingly, if you kind of look at the bottom of the standings. And they can get into a play-in game, but what's a play-in game if you got OKC in the first round? You're going to get smoked in that first round. So we'll see what eventually happens with them, but they're off obviously to just a awful start. To put it in context, it's as bad as it gets. Like I said, the third worst record in the NBA or in the Western Conference so far. All right, shout out to my guy. Shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm. Get into that LeBron topic right after this. If you are a family member, if you're in the state of California and you've run into a situation, a serious injury, a wrongful death case, and you need a reputable, dependable, results-driven injury attorney, we got you. WallaceWins.com/Sliwa. WallaceWins.com/Sliwa. If you just go to that website, you can get an absolutely free consultation. Somebody will reach out to you. I'm happy to introduce you to Brad Wallace, the owner of the company. Obviously owns the Wallace firm. Like I mentioned too, you don't have to just be in Southern California. You can be anywhere in the state of California and he could represent you. He's had some great examples that I've given. You know, a lot of times these insurance companies are just trying to get you to settle. They just want you to settle. They want to give you the least amount of money possible. That's not how Brad Wallace works. That's not how he operates. He figures out, all right, what's a fair deal for my client, and he's going to fight for you all the way till the end to try to get you that amount. WallaceWins.com/Sliwa. Shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm, who this is their second year of being with me now on YouTube. And they're committed all the way through the regular season, even through the off season and even through free agency. So I appreciate his loyalty to the channel. And I just ask listeners, if you ever need an injury attorney, to give Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm, give them an opportunity to represent you. Okay, so article yesterday on ESPN, really good one. It was article was talking about LeBron, and I'll read why LeBron James' most remarkable NBA streak is now at risk. Okay. So initially when I read the headline, Dave McMenamin put this out there, by the way. Initially when I read the headline, I thought what they were talking about was his double-digit scoring streak, which might be, this could be the most absurd stat that I've ever read in my life. Let me read this just quick bullet. And the article is not about this stat. There's another stat that we'll get into. LeBron's first game back, he had the 11 points and the 12 assists. When he scored the 11 points, it assured his double-digit scoring streak, which he has tended to for 1,294 games, spanning nearly 18 years. So LeBron has been in double digits scoring-wise for 1,200 and 95, 96 games now based off of last night's game. Spanning nearly 18 years, he's had double-digit points in his career in a row. That's pretty effing absurd, okay? There's a lot of stats out there that are pretty crazy. That one is as crazy as it gets. So for nearly 18 years in a row, LeBron has had a game where he scores over 10 points. Okay. What the article was really trying to point out was James has been named to an all-NBA team a record 21 straight times, receiving his first selection after his second season. So the article is really going into with LeBron how this season, a lot of these streaks are probably going to end. The all-NBA team, that's going to end. And I'll tell you why it's going to end. He's not going to end up hitting the 65-game mark. I think through the rest of the season, he can only miss 3 more games. If he misses 3 more games, then he wouldn't qualify to be a part of the all-NBA team. And frankly, I think he's just probably not going to be a part of the all-NBA team. I think that's just going to come with age. And obviously, last year he was second-team all-NBA, so that wasn't a problem last season. He's got, and the article continues to go on, you know, in the time that he's held this record or the time that he's made it 21 straight times to an all-NBA team, it goes into all these different things that have happened in society. All right, how many different presidents have been there, this, that. It walks into all these different things just to give you a timetable of how long he's had some of these streaks going. The I think the thing that I took away from this article more than anything else, there was a quote here. Rich Paul had a quote. He said, "Look, at 41 years of age, I hope he is not playing back-to-backs, but at the same time, in order for him to make the All NBA team and things like that, he can't miss that many more games." If I'm LeBron, this year, and he's got all these streaks, and obviously we sit here and every single game, it's like, all right, he's passed this player for all-time assists. He's passed Reggie Miller for all-time threes. Games played. He broke a record by just playing in that 20 in his first game of the season because no other player has been in the league for 23 years. He's got the all-time scoring. Okay, he's got all these records. Let's put all the records to the side here for a second. What I'd really like to see from LeBron this year is not for him to care about the double-digit scoring streak that he's at. Not for him to care about the All-NBA team record, All-NBA team record with the 21 straight times that he's, obviously been a part of the All-NBA team. I don't want him to care about what his individual stats are. I don't want him to care about, another streak that might be out there or breaking this record or that record. I genuinely don't think LeBron can add anything else to his resume that's going to, further put him in the people want to talk about the GOATs. If he passes another record for 3-point shooting, nobody's going to sit there and say, well, now he's better than Jordan. That's it. Like there's nothing left for him to add to his resume. Everything that he's accomplished, in my opinion, he's a made man, and nothing else that he can do is going to add to it, except one thing. I think there's still one thing that could help to LeBron's resume. And it would be, obviously very, very different for him in how he gets there. At this point, the only thing that matters for LeBron is how can I help the Lakers try to get championship number 18? How can I help me get championship number 5? And the path to get there is going to be completely different for LeBron than in other seasons. Because in other seasons, if LeBron was going to compete for a championship, he had to be the best player out there. He had to have unbelievable stats every single night. He had to be the MVP or one of the MVPs in the NBA. He would have to be the finals MVP. I mean, there's a lot of variables that would go to what LeBron needed to be in the past. Those days are over. And I think the days of chasing the records, and I think the days of keeping the streaks alive, and I think the days of tracking all that stuff, I think are truly, truly irrelevant at this point. Look, nobody's going to break any of these streaks. Like, he's got streaks that are out there and records that are out there that will never be touched, period. I mean, look at the way the game is played today, load management, all this stuff. Just nobody's going to touch any of these records. LeBron respected the game, tried playing every single game, was out there every single night, filled up the box score. It's done. There's nothing left to be accomplished. The thing to me that means the most important, and there is no indication to me that LeBron is not going to try to follow this mantra or this game plan. For me now, it's all about how can I help this team knowing that I'm probably the second or third best player on this squad? How can I help the team? Luka last night, 43, 13, and 9. Is LeBron getting in Luka's way for any of that? Because I don't see LeBron getting in Luka's way. Austin Reeves, 31 and 9. Is LeBron stopping or saying, well, I got to get mine. I'm going to take my shots or my buckets or anything? Is LeBron doing anything on the floor that you've seen so far this season or last year when Luka became a Laker that would tell you that LeBron's number one priority is not just winning? The only way LeBron adds to his resume at this point is a real run in the Western Conference Finals or a real run in the Western Conference and then a potential shot at an NBA championship. Now, he's only got so much control. There's only so much LeBron, can do. I mean, LeBron can cater to the Lakers and to Luka and to Austin Reeves and to JJ Redick and the roster, and he can cater as much as he wants. That doesn't mean the Lakers get past the second round. It doesn't guarantee it. They could lose against Denver again in the second round of the play. They could lose to Houston, OKC. There's other teams that are really talented out there as well. But I do think the more I read that article and the more I paid attention to all these streaks that LeBron has been a part of, none of it means anything anymore. The only thing that could genuinely add to his resume is he sacrifices all those individual stats and streaks and everything else to try to compete for one more championship. That's it. I think if you're a Laker fan out there, I think the more that you also see him sacrifice, there, look, there's always going to be the Laker fans that are out there and we say, oh, if it's not, I'm a Kobe guy. I don't understand the connection. Fine, be a Kobe guy. But no, because LeBron jumped and he went from team to team. All right, that's fine. There's other players that jumped from team to team as well. You can have your opinion on that. That's fine. Well, LeBron was always about himself. Okay, one of the most unselfish players statistically, but sure, if that you want to make that argument. For whatever Laker fans that are left out there that do not want to root for LeBron or whatever the case is, I do think he could also endear himself even more to Laker fans by basically taking this approach. Whatever the hell you guys need me to do, I just want a shot at one more NBA championship. It's not all going to be on his back. Of course it's not. There's plenty of other players that are going to have to figure that out. And I think the front office will be the most critical piece in getting a chance to compete for an NBA championship. But that's the only thing left that he can add to on his resume. That's it. There's nothing left. There's nothing left for LeBron to accomplish. Genuinely, I don't think there's anything left for LeBron to accomplish but that. And even with him trying to play that role perfectly, it doesn't guarantee anything. So we'll take a look at some of the comments here, but that's kind of what that article sparked for me. It had nothing to do with the streaks. It had more to do with that angle that I'm referring to. And this will, by the way, transition me into, I think there's some pressure now on Rob Pelinka in the front office to look at this team and say, listen, if we're going to be this good and this competitive in the Western Conference, we got Luka in his prime. I think it's going to add to the pressure of saying, we got to make sure this roster has a shot of going up against any of those teams in the Western Conference. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, let me see what we got here. Kobe isn't playing. Let's see what we got here. LeBron will win 6th man of the year. Okay. Bron can change the narrative. I don't think there's a narrative to be changed. I don't think there's a narrative to be changed. If I'm being honest with you, I really don't think there's a narrative to be changed. What more can he accomplish? All right, let me see what else we have here. AR and Luka haven't proven anything at the highest stage yet. I disagree with that. I think Luka has proven he could take teams that probably shouldn't be the NBA Finals or probably shouldn't be in the Western Conference Finals, and he can lead them. Now, has he won a championship? He hasn't. No. I mean, the one thing that all these MVP candidates have in common, all of them got chips. SGA's got a chip. Giannis has a chip. Jokic has a chip. Jason Tatum, if you want to say, has a chip as well. I know Tatum isn't playing this year, but obviously talking about some of the top guys in the league. Let's see what else we have. Guys, some of the infighting here. What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? I don't know if you guys know how this chat works and how this show works, but nobody cares. Nobody cares. Just, let's talk some ball on here. Shoot the shit with me. That's it. Don't worry about any of this other stuff. Don't worry about any of that. Luka is insane. He brings aura and confidence. Yeah, he has some, yesterday we had Adam Oslan on, who does the pre and half and post for the Clippers. And he was telling me something, and I kind of knew it, but I don't know if I fully understood it. He's like, Luka owns the Clippers. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I've seen. He's like, no. Luka owns the Clippers. And in the first quarter where Luka's got almost 20 points or something along those lines, I'm like, yeah, Luka owns the Clippers. So we, I think I understand what that means now moving forward. All right, let's get this in as well. Let's let me hit on this here real quick, and then we'll start getting into some of the other topics, and we'll kind of start working our way to the end of the show. By the way, cheers to everybody. Listen, guys, look at me. Listen to me. Look at me in the eyes. You guys looking at me? Look at me. It's the day before Thanksgiving. What is it? Everybody on the keyboard getting all tough and everything. Just relax. Relax. We're hanging out here. Look what channel you're on. You're with Sli. We're chilling here. We're relaxing here. All right? I'm going to get some people that are already going to be intoxicated by 6 o'clock tonight, getting ready for Thanksgiving tomorrow. I got other people who, might be doing some other activities for Thanksgiving tomorrow so they could eat a little bit more. We relax on here. Drink your cup of coffee. Why's everybody pump their chest out on a keyboard? Come on. All right, let me keep going here. Some pressure here. Everything I just said about LeBron. I'll take my shirt off right now. Somebody I'll go max push-ups right now. If I max push-ups, how many can I probably get? I get a good 25 in. 25 in. The left knee might cheat a little bit. The left knee might kind of barely touch the ground to get 3 more in, and the judge didn't see it. Nobody saw it. Okay, so real quick here. So I talked about LeBron and, his sacrifice and, forget my streaks, forget everything I've done. Let me just let me do everything I can for the team. Well, he can do all that. It doesn't mean the Lakers are going to go win an NBA championship. So LeBron can do his part. Luka can do his part. AR can do his part. I do think that there's one narrative left that's going to be very important to watch. Look, they're 13-4. They're playing good basketball. They've got an 8-2 record on the road. They're clearly showing that they can hang with a lot of these teams other than the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think there's going to be some pressure on Rob Pelinka you've been holding on to a lot of these assets. Fine. Be smart, be very, think big picture. But before you get to the NBA trade deadline, this roster is starting to kind of prove and show like, look, if you can get some more talent here, give us a real opportunity. Give Luka a real opportunity. Give JJ a real opportunity. Give AR and LeBron a real opportunity. And I'm not telling you that I know who they're going to go trade for. And I'm not telling you Wiggins is the right guy because we've heard his name a lot. What I'm telling you is give these guys a shot. I mean, there were some assets last year the Lakers went all in with. Mark Williams, they traded for Mark Williams. And then we know what happened once it was Dalton Connect. It was a first round. Lakers were giving up some talent. And they were giving up some of their assets in order to go try to make a move. And then next thing you know, okay, well, that trade gets nixed. You still have all those assets. I think the most important thing to look at right now with the Lakers is if you're Rob Pelinka, the team and the roster. I love this quote. And I've heard some different GMs and president of basketball operations. I've seen it in baseball. Basically what they say, look, the team dictates whether we make a move or not. The team is going to tell us we're good enough to go make a move or we're not good enough, so don't go make a move. Or we're so bad, start selling off some of the assets. It's safe to say almost 25% into the season, and I know we'll be well over 50% in the season, so we'll have even a more sample size, a great sample size of what the Lakers are. I know we'll reach a point where we'll have an opportunity to say, well, okay, Rob, they've told you whether they deserve for you to go make some moves or no, pump the brakes. I don't want to throw bad money towards something. I don't want to, there's people who are running businesses and at some point they're like, that's it. I'm not throwing any more bad money. Sometimes I got to cut my losses and move on. The Lakers right now seem like a good investment. They look like they've done the right things individually. Looks like a lot of these players came into the season with the right mentality. Ayton's overperforming. Marcus Smart is showing some value. Jake LaRavia's had some moments. Luka looks like an MVP. LeBron looks like he could still compete on a night-in, night-out basis. JJ seems like he's the right head coach. I think the Lakers are telling Rob Pelinka, brother, we're worth it. Go spend some capital on this team. You have the flexibility. You have expiring contracts. You have some assets that are on this roster and this team. If an opportunity presents itself, go make an opportunity happen. I do think there's going to be some pressure on Rob Pelinka. And I don't even mean bad pressure. I mean, hey, I have to respect what this team has done. And if we're sitting here 30, 35, 40 games into the season and the Lakers are still playing at this kind of, this tempo or having this much success, all right, you got to go make a move then. So I could say everything I said about LeBron and sacrificing and all that, but I do think the Lakers need more talent, and I do think it's going to be up to the front office to put them in a genuine, real championship window where you're saying to yourself, it could go either way with Lakers and Denver in a 7-game set. It could go either way with Lakers and the Rockets in a 7-game set. And I don't know if anybody can get past the Oklahoma City Thunder, but you obviously want a puncher's shot. All right, I'll read a couple of the comments here, and then we'll start looking at a few more topics that I have. Okay, what do we have here? Let's see. Lakers are good as is. I don't think so. I do not think so. I really don't. I think that if they're going to have a legitimate shot in the Western Conference, I still think they're going to need more talent. I think they're going to need more talent. I'd love to agree with you, but I'm sure Houston is saying we need more talent. I'm sure Denver is saying what are some areas we're going to need to improve on. So yeah, I don't know about that. Let's get another one here. I know the Pistons are playing well, but I haven't seen any of their games. Team strengths. I'm with you on that. I genuinely do not have a feel for that. Of the Pistons, I just know they're balling out and they deserve a lot of credit. Sli, let's give these guys a shot, but with who? Who would be the perfect player that's attainable? So here's the one thing I'll tell you, and I'm not going to name names because I don't know who's going to be available. So I could tell you the type of player that would be perfect. Type of player is a 6'7", 6'8", two-way player, maybe 6'7" to 6'9", a two-way player that can play defense and hit threes. I think that's ideal for the Lakers, that can guard multiple positions, that's got some experience in the playoffs, that's somebody that could be a Laker for the next 2 to 3 years. I think that would be ideal. But I will tell you this. I will say that there are so many bad teams right now that I think there's going to be a lot of teams that we didn't think are going to be selling off that are going to be selling off. Let me give you some examples. Memphis is 6-12. Utah's 5-12. Sacramento's 5-13. Clippers are 5-13. Dallas are 5-14. The Pelicans are 3-15. Half of the Western Conference is irrelevant. Half of the Western Conference could be selling off. So that's what I mean by players that are available. It has more to do with what's happening around the league. Let's get another one here. We need fit guys, not bigger names. We don't want to become the Clippers. No, you're right about that. I don't disagree with that. And I'm talking about fit. I'm not talking about a name. I'm talking about this is a guy that would fit on this team and on this squad. We all thought LeBron would lead us to glorious lands, only one championship later. Yeah, it's been up and down in the LeBron era. Up and down. I mean, if hypothetically, if you told me that you did not want LeBron, then I would have a difficult time kind of understanding what you would want. So I'm not paying too close attention to that. All right, let's see what else we got here. Somebody's saying they can do 100 push-ups. All right, relax there. Jesus. 100 push-ups. What kind of a competition is this? Relax. My God. 100? Do 100 over the course of a week? Pace myself here. Let me see. All right. Okay. I think we're good. Okay. Let me keep jumping around here. By the way, to end the show, we'll do some Ask Sli Thanksgiving stuff. Okay. Well, you can ask me I don't know. Ask me whatever Thanksgiving. If you got a question about Middle Eastern Thanksgivings, I got you. Okay. Turkey might be a little dry. I'm just telling you that right now. I don't know if my aunts got it. I don't know if they got it down. They're not really making any in-game adjustments. I'm just saying. Look, all due respect. I got to keep it real here. It's been dry for about 16 years. I'm just saying. All right, let's keep going here. Hopefully nobody's listening. Power rankings just came out. By the way, every Wednesday they come out. I've been saying for a while here. Look, let me get this out here real quick. You guys probably got some answers as well that, they're cooking it a little bit dry. I'm just saying, let's go through the list here and let's figure out how to get that down. We can't get, how many years in a row? How many years in a row? I got to lather it with gravy. Let's just, come on. All right, let me get back in here. I lose my train of thought here. ESPN did their power rankings. 2 weeks ago, actually it was about a week ago, I was telling ESPN, or I was talking about some of the different power rankings that were out there. And I'm like, if you don't have the Lakers in the top 5, I can't take your power rankings seriously. I don't think you're watching any Laker games. To have any scenario out there that doesn't have the Lakers in the top 5, like, it's the most absurd thing I've ever heard. It was annoying, the whole thing. All right, well, here are the power rankings came out this morning. OKC number 1, no question about it, 71. Pistons 15 and 2. Give the Pistons a number 2. If you're doing a power ranking and you got the Pistons at number 2, you should. I think that's smart. I think that's wise. All right, Pistons are number 2. Denver is number 3 at 13 and 4. Houston is number 4. And then here are the Lakers at number 5. Last week, they had them at number 7. Makes no sense that the Lakers were not in the top 5. Again, I'm going to say this again. If you are a network out there that's doing a power ranking, you got Lakers in the top 5, you're not watching enough games. You're not watching enough Laker games. 13 and 4, and they've already played 10 games on the road, and they can't crack the top 5. That made no sense to me. So, and by the way, look at their next 3 games. Dallas, lottery team. New Orleans, lottery team. Phoenix playing some good ball, but I don't think anybody's really looking at the Suns saying they're a real threat in the Western Conference. So they got a chance to make this 16 and 4. I mean, maybe they take 2 or 3 and they're 15 and 5. Can anybody really be complaining about 15 and 5, 20 games, a quarter, 25% into the season? I don't think anybody could be complaining about that. Okay, so that's the NBA power ranking. So just kind of share that with everybody where they got the Lakers. Part of the reason, by the way, they were talking about why the Lakers, why their power rankings were so off, I guess you can say. Part of the reason was the Lakers shooting. And LeBron had a quote, "It won't last. We're not worried about it. We got too many good shooters." Anyway, so Lakers yesterday, they were phenomenal from the three-point line. So once they addressed it, 46% yesterday from 3. Lakers have been atrocious from 3. And the guys that have been awful, Luka's been awful from 3. He was 7 of 12 yesterday. Austin Reeves was 2 of 4. And I like when they don't take as many threes, because I feel like a lot of times Lakers just jack up too many threes. So again, something to keep in mind there. The only other thing that I want to, Detroit getting a lot of love, by the way. I got no problem giving Detroit love. I got no problem giving teams that kind of come out of nowhere, giving them their kudos or giving them their flowers. So Pistons getting a lot of love. All right. The other thing that I'm going to mention here real quick, and then we'll kind of start kind of wrapping up the show, play a little music in the background here, and then we'll do a couple other things from here. The only other thing that I'm going to mention here is the MVP. I got some NBA news. MVP chase. I saw this. Shea is number 1 right now on NBC Sports. They got Jokic at number 2, right? Jokic's numbers is 30 a game with 12.8 rebounds and 11 assists. Jesus Lord. They got Luka number 3 in MVP chase. So Luka, 34.5 points per game, 9 assists, 9 rebounds. Yeah, he's pretty good as well. Luka's not bad as well. I had somebody tell me this, and I'm going to try to throw this in the mix here. Somebody say, Sli, you got any kind of reggae for a piece of the show music-wise? All right, let me throw a little bit of reggae in here, and you guys can tell me, this fits the vibe of the show. You guys can tell me. So I got some NBA news that I'm going to do now. And then we'll do a little bit of this Thanksgiving, talk a little Ask Sli's with some Thanksgiving. Only quick things I'm going to do real quick in NBA news. Lakers got to get this court figured out. Luka yesterday, it's just slippery. It's dangerous. I slipped a lot of times, and you could see a lot of players slipped, and that's dangerous. Lakers, obviously NBA Cup, so it's a different type of court. I think the night before, the Kings had a game. Yeah, they got to figure that out. Kings played the Ottawa Senators on Monday. Lakers played a game yesterday. And the game just apparently wasn't very safe, or the court wasn't very safe. You know, I remember in Kevin Durant's first year with the Golden State Warriors, San Diego used to host, my whole childhood, San Diego used to host a Lakers preseason game. And, look, there's a lot of Laker fans in San Diego as well. I remember they played it. The arena's awful, sports arena. They're trying to tear it down. Hopefully they do. And they build a new arena there. But Lakers were playing as KD's first year with the Warriors. They stopped the game at halftime because they were having issues with how slippery the court was. And they're like, this is too dangerous. They stopped the game at halftime. They didn't play the second half. All right, that's a preseason game. This is the NBA. So I hated that story coming out yesterday, but apparently the court wasn't very safe. Couple other things here that I'm going to point out from NBA news, and then we'll do some Ask Slis on Thanksgiving. Former Los Angeles Laker NBA veteran Rick Fox running for political office in the Bahamas. He announced that he'll be running in the 2026 election for the Bahamas House of Assembly. The 56-year-old Fox, who was born in Canada, grew up in the Bahamas, explained in a Facebook post why he wanted to get involved in the island nation's politics, saying he's been listening to the country's hopes and frustrations. So Rick Fox rolling up his sleeves here, trying to get into the mix. Some games tonight coming up, so something to keep in mind. By the way, group play, Lakers 3-0. They're one of two teams that are already in the quarterfinals. So them and the Toronto Raptors are in the quarterfinals. They still have one more group play game tomorrow against Dallas. If they win that game, point differential, that will determine everything else. Tonight, there's a ton of games. Pistons and the Celtics. I'm just going to point out some good games. Bucks and the Heat. Timberwolves and the Thunder. Rockets and the Warriors. And those are really kind of the main games to look at. These are all NBA Cup games. So tonight will be just a slew of NBA Cup games. And it will clear up what the rest of the schedule will look like for everybody else, as we know that they're still kind of holding on and figuring out what they're going to do from that perspective with some of the other NBA Cup games. All right, let's do it here real quick. Some Thanksgiving questions, throw them in. Spend a few minutes on Thanksgiving. Love Thanksgiving, my favorite holiday. You got some Thanksgiving questions you want to throw my way? Some Ask Sli Thanksgiving questions, throw them in. We'll get to a few of them today. No show again until Friday postgame. So just a heads up. We're not doing a show tomorrow morning. We're not doing a show Friday morning. But we are doing a show Friday night after Lakers take on the Dallas Mavericks. So we'll have a couple of days here without any shows. Maybe I'll put up some content. I guess it will just kind of depend. So we'll see how that all goes. Yeah, Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday. Guys, there isn't a better holiday than Thanksgiving. Look at the game plan for Thanksgiving. I get NFL football on a Thursday. I'll get college football mixed in over the weekend. I'll get NBA basketball mixed in all weekend long as well. The whole holiday is geared around sitting around and eating. I mean, tell me how there's a holiday that's better than Thanksgiving. There isn't. There just isn't. Okay, got that. I got a little tip there. Okay, Thursday. Let's see here. Indica or sativa before Thanksgiving? Listen, I don't even know what I would do if I did anything before I got with family. I don't think it's a good idea for me. For me, that's got to be more. I got nothing on the schedule. I'm doing nothing, and that's where I can shine better than let me go grab something that's going to basically put me to sleep or give me way too much energy and go talk to family for 4 or 5 hours. Not me. I can't do it, guys. Tamales sleep. Believe it or not, tamales have not made the Middle Eastern. They haven't worked their way into the Middle Eastern menu. So no tamales for me. I'm sure I got a lot of people who are proud Hispanic Mexicans from Southern California. I'm a little disappointed that nobody's saying, hey, Sli, I got tamales for you, brother. Homemade tamales. Come on, man. All right, let's get here. Ooh, favorite pie. It's way too sweet.
But freaking pecan pie, man. Tell me you can't have a nice slice of pecan pie and just sit there with every single bite, just enjoy the savor or the sweet of the pecan pie. I think that's my favorite slice. And I will tell you this. I like apple pie as well, especially if it's warmed up and put a little scoop of ice cream on there. I don't say no to pumpkin pie. It's not my top notch. I like a good, a fruit pie. So it's either cherry, like whatever, any of those fruits in the pies. I guess what I'm telling you guys is I eat every pie, but pecan pie is probably my favorite. All right. Sli, is turkey the worst? I don't think so. I know people hate on turkey. I'm all right with turkey. It just needs a little help. Turkey can't kind of stand on its own. All right, we get a little mashed potatoes and gravy. Throw some of that gravy right on that turkey. Okay, it needs a little help. Throw a little gravy on the turkey there. It needs an assist. Big or small family gathering? Huge family gathering. Big family gathering. We're doing it at my aunt's house this year, so usually there's a lot of family. We're talking 50, 60 people like nothing. No problem. 50, 60 walking around, running around. They put the food out. I'll take some video of the food tomorrow. I'll post it on YouTube. I got you guys. Here's what it's going to be. It's going to be all Middle Eastern food and then one or two American dishes, and then that pretty much is it. We're lucky to get... I think mashed potatoes and gravy just came in a couple years ago. Just made their way. They were on the waiting list for like 28 years, and they finally just made their way in. So, a big family gathering, by the way. 2 days off of sports, lots of food, excuse not to exercise. Yeah, I got to try to get it in. This week I've already been eating like a freaking animal, like a prep or something like that. Sli, what's up with the dry turkey? You got to say something. I don't know. I think it's just one of those things where I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the dry turkey. I accept the dry turkey. Christmas is the best. Get out of here. Christmas, you got to go out there and half of your money is spent on presents. It rotates on what day it's on. I can't even, coordinate properly because I don't know if it's on a Monday or if it's on a Sunday. I mean, get out of here with the whole Christmas Thanksgiving is the best. Thanksgiving is the best. Sli, how many days do you eat leftovers before you get tired of it? I can get 2 solid days. I could get Thursday. I can get Friday to eat leftovers. By Saturday, I'm like, all right, it's my last. We're coming to the end here. By Saturday, that's it. I'm out. I tapped out by Saturday. Listen, a lot of Middle Eastern food that's going to be in there. So we're going to get there'll be a few different rices. You'll have your traditional white rice, but you'll probably have a yellow rice as well. Sometimes there's a rice that's mixed with everything. It's called biryani. If you ever been to an Indian place or a Middle Eastern place, biryani is what it's called. So it's got a mix of different meats and vegetables and everything else. I like doing a more traditional rice, and I like putting this curry stew that goes on it with potatoes and chunks of meat. Oh, that's the home run tomorrow. That one makes the plate every time. All right, let's see if we've got a couple more here. Homemade. Everybody keeps saying homemade tamales, and nobody's offering me any tamales. Unbelievable. All these great people that I have on the channel. No one. I'm in Southern California. I live in Southern California. My whole life. I've not had one person say, Al, we got tamales for you, brother. All right, let's get a couple more in here, and then we're done. All right, let's see what we got here. Sli, you should go try the new Taco Bell Mountain Dew Baja Blast Blueberry Pie. They have, right after the show. I'm going to actually try to do that every time before the show starts. I'm going to try to do that every time the show starts. I'm going to try to get in there and have the Taco Bell Mountain Dew Baja. It sounds so healthy. All right, I'm going to go to the bottom here. There's a lot of comments here. All right, let's see what we have here. Sli, you eat deviled eggs on Thanksgiving. What about sweet potato pie? I don't really do deviled eggs. I don't really care for them. That's not something that I'm going to and say, I got to have them. No, I'm good. Sweet potato pie, again, not really, not something that kind of draws my interest. You know, I will say something that's underrated at our Thanksgiving for the desserts. We got a good freaking spread of desserts. You're going to have your pies, but you're going to start mixing in some of the Middle Eastern desserts. Baklawa, which is baklava. Most people say baklava. There's just a good spread of desserts. The desserts game is very underrated, I think, at the household. You get whatever you get in from the Thanksgiving dinner, but people are delivering. Everybody's bringing desserts. You got every option that you could think of with the desserts. What a fun show today. What a fun show today. All right, my people, I appreciate it. Thank you. That was fun. That was great to talk a little hoops. Lakers with another win, 13-4 on the season, and then being able to kind of mix in some of this Thanksgiving stuff. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to get a solid video for everybody. I'll show you guys a video of the spread, and then I'll show you guys a video of my plate, or maybe a photo of my plate of what exactly my plate looks like. So I got you. And I'm going to put that up on YouTube tomorrow. And then why don't you guys, throw some responses on there and see if we get some photos of some of your food as well. I'd love to see that. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. Fun week this week. Hope you guys all have a great Thanksgiving. Spend time with family. Do your thing. I'll be back on Friday after the Lakers take on the Dallas Mavericks on Friday night. So we'll do it again. Thank you very much for being here. Please subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys coming up on Friday night. Thank you, everybody.